What's up guys, and welcome back to another update day in old school RuneScape. This week's update features the new Below Ice Mountain free-to-play quest, as well as a few tweaks to Tempoross. First off, they gave us a nice sneak peek to the new quest release. I'm not going to go into detail for all of this initial part, which is basically just lore and telling you how the quest kind of starts and the reason for it happening, but we will start with the requirements and the rewards. You'll need 16 quest points as well as a 10 mining recommendation, and the rewards for the quest are 1 quest point, 2k coins, and access to the Ice Mountain dungeon. But first things first, within this ruins you'll now be able to find Baronite, and this is a unique material that can only be found within this cave system. And there are a load of different ways to get Baronite, which we will cover in the rest of this video, but the most notable is the access to the vault, which is a new maze-like system that has random chests throughout it, and you only have a specific amount of time in order to gain as much rewards as possible. This quest and these activities are primarily targeted at a low-level free-to-play adventurer, but there are a few pay-to-play aspects of this update. But now let's just go ahead and jump into one of the things you can do within this new tunnel. And the first is train prayer, and this is definitely a non-conventional way of training prayer because it involves fishing and cooking. You'll pick a net and catch one of the specified fish right here below depending on your fishing level. You can also sometimes gain small amounts of Baronite while fishing. And once you have a full inventory, you will head over to one of the preparation tables with a knife. And once your fish are prepared, you can then take them over and offer them at the ancient altar and train your prayer skill. But besides prayer, we also have Golem Cores. And these golems are fueled by runic energies and are now a new way to potentially train your rune crafting. When killed, golems have a potential chance to drop a corrupted core, which can then be used at the relevant rune crafting altar to gain XP and runes. Although there's no guarantee, the corrupted cores are not a guaranteed drop, but if you are lucky enough to pick up a corrupted core, it will offer extra XP and runes when offering it at an altar. Therefore, if you do this method, you will have to take fewer trips to the altar, but the XP rates will be offset by the fact of obtaining the cores. And all 4 of the new golems are listed right here, with the highest being a non-free-to-play Chaos Golem that could potentially drop a Chaos Core that you could use at the Chaos Altar. And while it's possible to gain Baronite from both of those original methods, most likely a slightly better method is to actually mine Baronite rocks and Baronite deposits. These deposits can then be smelted down to gain additional Baronite and ancient relics. And in order to mine Baronite, it only requires 15 mining. Although players with 15 smithing can also break down Baronite deposits with a hammer at anvils and potentially obtain Baronite ancient relics or a rare Baronite head. Or also a broken Baronite hammer, which is a new rare members only item. But now finally, for the best way to gain Baronite within the new update, and this is the vault. And the vault actually requires Baronite in order to entry, but be fast because the vault is a maze-like home to many chests, but you only have 1 minute to loot as many as possible, and you have to also leave in time, otherwise all of your loot will be lost. They also did mention players can stack as many entries into the vault as they want. For example, a player could pay for 20 entries in one transaction. But now for other rewards in this update, the first is the new Baronite Mace, and this is an untradeable mace that requires 3 pieces in order to create. First up is the Baronite handle, which is found while hunting for cavefish. The second is the pommel, which is dropped by golems. And then finally the head, which is found while breaking down Baronite deposits. And in terms of low-level accounts or specific builds, this is going to be a pretty solid weapon. It requires 40 attack to use, and it is a crush variant with very similar stats to the Rune Scimitar. Next new item with this update is the Dwarven Hammer, and this is a members-only untradeable hammer that will function as a normal hammer when skilling, but because it can be equipped in the main hand, it frees up your inventory slot. But another unique system within this cave is actually ruin area buffs. And players will be able to spend Baronite to unlock various buffs and effects within the ruins, some of which are increased catch rate for fishing, decreased failure chance when preparing fish, reduced damage from golem attacks, increased chance of obtaining Baronite deposits, increased chance of finding maze components and the broken hammer, and a 1 hour buff to the dungeon that increases the success chance of all activities. Now for a few quick Tempoross updates. You can no longer set up anything like the Dwarf Cannon Mithril Seeds hunting box on the lobby ship. You can no longer stall to run through fires, and points from dousing fires and fixing totems has been doubled from 20 to 40. They've added a few items to the tackle box, and both angler outfits are now separated in POHs. But that is everything for this week's update. This one's going to be a little longer because of everything included in the new quest. They gave us a bunch of free information prior to its release. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, consider dropping a like or subscribing to the channel if you're around here often. But that's going to do it for today's video. I'll catch you guys in the next one.